Hey, Jason Rogers here. And one of the questions I've been getting in my comments in the videos I've been posting for a while here now on social media, one of the questions I've been getting is, hey, Jason, did you do something fundamentally to prepare yourself for this game of entrepreneurship that you have dove into, that you're also sharing about publicly? What did you do to get ready for it? What can I do to get ready for it? And really, the big underlying question I believe that those questions are based upon is, can one learn the traits? Can one gain the necessary and requisite skill sets and traits and abilities to be more successful in entrepreneurship? Short answer, I believe yes. I believe it's easier for you if you're younger, which is somewhat of a politically incorrect thing to say, but I'm a psychologically based individual. I studied psychology at UCLA and did research at Stanford. One of the fundamental principles of psychology we pretty much know is the trait called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is essentially that the mind has the ability to be molded and shaped, and it's in particular easy to mold the mind, aka learn new skills, create new neural pathways, etc., in the earlier stages of your life. It's why as a youngster at 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, it's really easy for a youngster to pick up a second or a third language. Whereas if you're 65, it's a little tougher to learn French. Everybody's kind of seen that, felt that, known that to some degree in their life. And I believe that's pretty much the same in entrepreneurship. Now, firstly, let's talk about some of the skills I believe you probably would want to cultivate. And I'm not saying I'm Mr. Entrepreneur Coach or anything like that, but these are things I absolutely believe are relevant and paramount. One would be sales skills. Two would be the ability to lead. And then three would simply be having a vision and being able to inspire and enlist others into your vision. So that really ties into both leadership and sales. But I would say the ability to lead, the ability to sell, and then the ability to inspire and really enlist others into your vision. Those things are just so absolutely fundamentally paramount. You add on top of that, of course, discipline and incredible habits. And I would also add delayed gratification, right? Usually starting your own business is a delayed gratification game. I mean, for example, if you start a business and want to grow exponentially by making acquisitions, by buying top line revenue, I can pretty much guarantee you, you're not going to make any money in your first month, 2 month, or 3 months of business. You're going to probably be completely focused on building your board, perhaps getting a chairman, talking to top legal and accounting firms, cultivating deal flow, meeting with financial institutions, maybe fundraising equity if you're in a kind of a business where you need to fundraise equity. All of those things are going to happen before you make a penny. So you're going to need delayed gratification. But the real thing I wanted to talk to you about in this video was, what could one do to get him or herself ready for the game of entrepreneurship? And one of the things I did that helped me most, there's been a couple of them, and honestly, firstly, I used to be a very awkward, introverted individual. I would have never have put myself out there on a YouTube platform like this. One of the things I did back in college when I was about 20, 21 years old, I was studying at UCLA. This is funny, but it's the truth. I actually hit on every single cute girl at UCLA's campus, as some of my buddies who know me back from college can attest to. I literally talked to every single cute girl on campus, and I got rejected hundreds, if not actually probably thousands of times. That was a great practice for me to go through, because what it did is it taught me that, you know what, even if I get rejected 90% of the time, I will still have a ton of awesome, cute dates at the end of the week if I stick with something like that consistently. So it basically taught me delayed gratification. It taught me the communication skills, the ability to sell myself. And it made me be a leader of myself, to keep on approaching girls when at the beginning my legs used to shake. I used to be so awkward. I had jelly legs. I was a goofy guy. These girls were laughing at me. They're like, oh my gosh, this guy's a freak. That ability to stay consistent, to stay persistent, and to learn the communication skills, to be able to talk on my feet, those things were all extremely valuable. So for you young guys, another thing you could do, I believe, that would develop those skills is door-to-door sales or cold calling. All of those types of things teach you that life's a numbers game, persistence, repeat, communication skills, how important they are, sales. All of those things are absolutely relevant, and I believe you're going to learn those types of things either from approaching women or doing sales, cold calling, door knocking, any of those types of things. Another big fundamental moment for me, and actually it was about 2 years, about 18 months rather. I lived in Colombia, down in Medellin, which, yes, is the place where Pablo Escobar used to hang out. I spent the second half of 2017 and the majority of 2018 down there. I'll never forget, I didn't speak a lick of Spanish the day I showed up in Colombia. I didn't know a single person in 3,000 miles. And Colombia is a fairly dangerous country. It's not like it was back in the narco days, but it's still fairly intense. And there were a lot of things that happened to me down there that fundamentally toughened me up. I had to deal with being on my own. I had to deal with learning a language on the fly. There were a lot of things that came out of that experience that helped me grow up to some degree. So I would say throwing yourself in an uncomfortable position for a sustained duration of time is a good practice for you. Now, will you go to Medellin, Colombia and live on your own for 2 years and learn Spanish on the fly and have to deal with people trying to rob you at night and things like that? I don't know. Like, is that a good idea for you? I can't really say. But for me, it was. For me, being in barrios that were very dangerous and hearing gunshots at points and dealing with people who tried to mug me and having to literally jump fences and get away from them and having to learn a language on the fly and have to completely integrate myself into a culture I didn't understand at all, that was a good thing that actually really prepared me for a life in entrepreneurship. I didn't know at the time it would have that effect, but what it did is it raised my comfort zone, it increased my ability to figure things out on the fly, and it taught me a lot about people skills. How do you communicate with somebody? How do you create a friendship? How do you create a romantic relationship? How do you create some type of a human-to-human connection when you don't even speak the language that well? It teaches you body language, nonverbal, subcommunication, all these other variables that are important when you're talking about sales and communication and leadership, etc. So that's something else you can do, is maybe throw yourself into a different culture and throw yourself into basically a situation where you're on your own, you don't know anybody. Those types of things I think are really valuable. But again, it's just about what can you do to push your comfort zone out? I think the further out you are from your comfort zone, the better. Because at the end of the day, starting a business from scratch is not a comfortable enterprise. I hope that's self-evident. And I hope if you're not aware of that, man, I would say don't start a business. Like, if you haven't gotten even to the point of realizing that starting a business is going to be an uncomfortable experience for a sustained amount of time, then you're probably not ready for the game. I'll leave you on that.